All right, guys. So today we're going to cover what type of shoes you should wear when you're going on your first hike or buying your first pair.
Or just looking for a new pair.
Maybe you already have one and you wanted to try something different. So we're going to talk about some hiking boots, some sandals, and then shoes. And we'll talk a little bit about comfort, protection, what we prefer, and go at it. So
Let's get to it.
all right, guys, welcome back to Ditch the Pavement. As usual, we're here to talk some stuff.
Yes, talk some stuff.
My name's Presley. This is my girlfriend, Haley.
Hello.
Today, we are going to be talking about the best footwear to hike in. And you really have three options: hiking boots, hiking shoes, or sandals, i.e. Chacos or
Tiva.
Tiva or Keen or something like that. But we're going to talk about those three and some pros and cons of each. So let's get to it. All right, so first up we have boots. These are my personal hiking boots.
They're quite dirty.
And so don't pay attention to that too much. But we're going to score it, or not really.
We're comparing them, like kind of basing them on the comfort of the three and then also the protection of the three. But we're going to start out looking more at just the comfort of the three. So
Totally.
I would say that boots are probably the least comfortable because they're just so clunky and big, but they're better for like your warmer temperatures and stuff because they are so big and they have so much around them that can keep your feet a lot. I said warmer. If for cold hikes,
Colder.
they're better for colder hikes like snow and stuff, not warmer. No, warmer, you step out of your boot and it's a swamp. I meant colder.
But I mean, I would agree totally. Even though I personally prefer boots, and I think that might just be because it's just
It's just what you've always used.
what I've always used, maybe. But I could tell I've tried multiple different hiking boots, and your feet definitely get pretty sweaty.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid.
Yeah. So as far as comfort goes, if you're a big sweaty foot person, if you have really sweaty feet,
If you have really hot feet,
is
is
or
what
hot
it's going
feet,
for.
then something lighter might be better for you, specifically in the warmer months in the summer.
Yeah.
But for comfort, I mean, if you get a good pair of boots, you can get some really good comfort out of these. And
but they do typically take a long time to break in. Like multiple hikes to break them in.
More than a pair of hiking shoes
Because they're usually a lot more like leather and there's a lot more padding and stuff. So you have to work on getting that shape to your foot nicely.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, wait, we didn't talk about the main point here.
What was the main point?
The one in red. Have you ever heard of the hikers saying that a pound on your feet equals 5 pounds on your back?
I've honestly never heard that before.
I had never heard of it before until I started looking at this, but there's been studies done, especially like the most notable one was by the U.S. Army. They were testing to see how heavy boots affected people, and they found that it takes like 4 to 6 times more energy to move weight that's on your feet than it does on your back.
That would make sense, I feel like. Being if it's on your back, it's like close to your spine and stuff versus your feet.
Your feet are just clunky and you're like trying to hike.
That's why it's like weird whenever you're walking in like ski boots or snowboarding boots or something.
Well,
and it just feels like blocks.
Your dirt bike boots, because they just like, mine at least, they don't bend.
Right.
So it's like you don't have any ankle bending.
Yep. And you get some bending with these, but it's obviously nothing like a motocross boot. So with the boots, a lot of people think you get a lot more ankle support than if you were to wear a shoe. But Haley's done some exquisite research, and apparently that's a myth.
It seems to be like kind of split down the middle, that some people think it's a myth and some people don't. And it was saying like if you need ankle support or whatever, just work on strengthening your ankles instead of like assistance item or something like that.
It's like if you wear ankle braces your whole life and then you take them off on your spaghetti legs. So if you wear shoes a lot and you're used to rolling your ankles over on rocks and stuff, you'll be in better shape than if you were to lace up super high boots. But
I just roll my ankle normally.
On walking around the house. Even with these lace up, they have 2 additional eyelets up top, so they do get up fairly high, but you could still sprain your ankle in these.
Yeah.
So don't think you can't if you're
should always be careful regardless of what you're doing.
But I totally get strengthening your ankles by walking in shoes.
But it was like also doing like other kind of like ankle strengthening exercises and movements and stuff like that. And then another thing is waterproofing. Like yours right here say bone dry waterproof. And I was also reading that a lot of people in the consensus that waterproofing is just a term to sell the boots. Like they don't actually, like it's not a true claim or whatever. Waterproofing doesn't last forever. It's the same with your
you have to retreat it.
Whatever. You have to retreat them. And then no matter what you're doing, if it's raining hard and you're out, rain's going to get in your shoes.
Yeah. So these boots, I'm sure a lot of people are aware, but they're they have like the stitching on here on the tongue, so it is connected all the way around, but if water gets above that, obviously it's going in.
Yeah.
But if you have boots that have this mesh type stuff, definitely have to retreat that every once in a while or water will be pouring in. These actually do pretty well. I've had the toes submerged a couple times, but they're probably getting to the point where I need to retreat them because water will just seep right through that stuff after a while. All leather, though, it is much better than this mesh, but you still have to treat leather. So I would say if you're in shallow water, shoes or boots would be great. These would be better probably.
Yeah.
I think I just broke my ankle.
So, moving on to shoes.
So next we have hiking shoes. These are Haley shoes. They are North Face. Wow, they are dirty.
Yeah, they have a lot of clay in them. I tried to beat it out, but it kind of just stayed stuck in there.
We live in the upstate region, and it's
100% clay.
Yeah, very clay up here, and
there's only clay. So in terms of warmth for cold hikes, they're pretty comparable. You might not have as much around your ankle because they obviously sit lower, but they're typically fairly similar in construction to hiking boots. And so they like have kind of similar warmth, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I would say so. I think maybe in general they're a little thinner than some boots are, but I would, if you're wearing a good pair of socks and you're not walking through feet of snow, then you should be
if you're walking through feet of snow, you should rethink your whole trip. But they're also lighter than hiking boots because, like you were saying, they're a little bit thinner and they don't have that little bit higher ankle area. So they're lighter and a little more nimble, less clunky on your feet.
Yeah, you can do a lot more active stuff, I guess, in this. And maybe they might be a little more socially acceptable to go out in these.
People won't look at you as weirdly.
Depends where you live. Where we live, people can be out in hiking boots or whatever. But another big advantage of these, especially if you're going on a trip, is they're smaller than hiking boots. So if you're packing them in your suitcase, obviously they take up less room than the boots themselves. Or if you're wearing it, you can just slip it on. Oh, that was another thing we didn't even think of. You could slip these on and off easier than a pair of boots.
Yeah, as you can see, mine, I took them off. I left the laces tied. I just slipped them off. Yours, you had to untie.
I can't take mine off tied.
No.
So that's another advantage.
And another thing between these and hiking boots is if you've ever gotten a pair of hiking boots wet, you know that they take forever and ever to dry. And these will dry a little bit quicker, but they still will take a while to dry.
Yeah, and you can get more of like a trail runner type shoe that'll probably dry even faster than these will.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a solid choice, especially if you like to move a lot. And they'll dry faster. They're more flexible or whatever. So we had mentioned, if you wear shoes, your ankles get stronger as opposed to lacing up high boots over time. And definitely do think that is the case. Still get pretty good protection. If you roll off a rock, you might break your ankle, but that's the case with any boot. So definitely a solid choice.
Yeah.
Sandals.
Chacos.
Also my shoes.
Those are not mine.
So, as we were talking about, these ones are obviously a lot nicer for hotter weather hikes because airflow. Your toes are just breathing because there's not much holding them in. So that's definitely a huge advantage of rocking the sandals. And I was even reading that people will be wearing sandals on colder hikes, and they just rock some socks and sandals. So I might need toes ones with these. They've got a toe
I don't
loop.
think you're jamming your toe in there with regular socks on.
No.
But yeah, these can definitely come in handy, especially in the summer months.
Yeah.
The major disadvantage, though, is your feet look disgusting afterwards.
Yeah.
So if you are wearing these, go straight home and wash them off. Don't go out in public.
And since there's a lot less rubbing on your feet, you will typically get less blisters. Like boots and shoes, you can pretty easily get a blister, especially if you're not careful. And these, you can still get blisters in like the hot spots where the straps are rubbing up against your feet, but it's a lot less likely because they're just more open and stuff.
Yeah. With them being open, though, one negative about them is they are open for bugs and
rocks, little rockies.
Rocks, cuts.
But a lot of that, you can just it's same with flip-flops or whatever. You can just kind of shake your foot and get them out of there. Or you just got to dig out a pebble or something. But a lot easier than if you get a rock in your boot or your shoe, where you got to take them off and dump out your shoe. And
yeah, that's a pain. I hate whenever my sock gets twisted.
Yeah.
So you don't have that problem with these.
No. And when you're crossing any water, you can just walk right on through it instead of having to sit down, take your shoes off or your boots off, and then take your socks off. And then
put socks back on wet feet.
Yeah, and then blisters and all that. Where these you can just walk right on through. Nice little refreshing walk in the water. Sounds pretty nice.
It is nice, especially because it's super high here for November. One thing with sandals, though, if you were going to go hiking in sandals, is I would highly suggest getting a good pair like Chacos or Tevas or something. You don't want to be out on a long hike and one of these straps break or something like that, and then you're walking barefoot or duct taping the sole to your foot or something like that.
Yeah, make sure you have duct tape.
Which these Chacos, I used to have a pair. They weren't like exactly like this. They were the big straps, but I loved them, and they were perfect for boating, and I would use them for shrimping and stuff like that on the boat, so I can just jump right in, but they actually stay on your feet as opposed to flip-flops or something else.
Your poor Sperry's at one time?
Oh, yeah. We left them there.
They took on Pluff Mud, and the Pluff Mud won.
We didn't get those back.
You don't get it back from Pluff Mud.
Another thing with these is if you're going on a long hike, Chacos, they have a really good sole. So they are very comfortable, especially if you're hiking longer distances.
It's like podiatry approved.
Oh, okay.
All I could think was pediatrician, but I knew that was the wrong one. I don't know. Podiatrist approved.
But a lot of people do take, even like a bunch of through hikers, they take these. They will take like a pair of hiking shoes, but these
they're also
their camp
good,
shoes.
Yeah, it's a good camp shoe.
Or they'll wear them even hiking, if they need to cool off or
got a break or whatever.
Yep.
There's now dirt all over the desk. Oh, jeez. Yeah. So the number one downside of wearing sandals is your exposed little toesies, because obviously there ain't nothing hard there.
Can't wear these in a college lab.
Nope. Gotta have closed-toed shoes. So some of the, biggest dangers, I guess, with wearing sandals would be the sun, loose rocks, snakes, and the cold. Kind of touched on the cold already. You just wear some socks, thick socks, good hiking socks. Sun, make sure you wear sunscreen.
Yeah, the socks would help too.
Your socks would help on sunscreen or sun. But, you put sunscreen on your face and your arms if you're wearing short sleeves or whatever. Don't forget your toes and your feet, because you do not want to burn the top of your foot.
And you don't want that marked on your foot.
No. You wear sunscreen. And then snakes. Snakes don't want to interact with you if you don't interact with them.
Yeah. I would be more scared of spiders with my exposed toes than a snake, because it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a boot or a sandal. If a snake slides up to me, if a snake walks up to me, I'm going to have an issue regardless of what shoe I'm wearing.
If I see a snake, I'm going the other way.
Yeah. So you are a little bit more vulnerable with these, but take the proper precautions and you'll be good.
Yes. And they are not perfectly splendid for all hikes.
They are or aren't?
They're not. More strenuous technical ones, maybe opt for boots or shoes, because these can be a little not the best.
These are good for super short day hikes on trails, and it's not terribly cold out.
They have a limited but plentiful use.
Use them when it makes sense to. So we've talked Wade the shoes, what pros and cons.
Wade.
We didn't bring in waders, sorry.
I was going weight.
Oh yeah, weight. Okay. We did talk about that. So we've hit on that, and now after it's all said and done, if you guys are looking for a recommendation, we're not scientists or pediatricians. Podiatrists. But we do go on a lot of hikes, and we do like our footwear. So I personally would recommend a good pair of boots. That's just kind of what I know and love. Although I do want to try a pair of shoes, or like a trail set for some shorter hikes and stuff. If you're looking for an all-around boot, you can work in these. You could wear them around the house. They're super comfortable.
He wears them to do yard work.
They're multifaceted, so I love my boots.
I'm gonna have to go with my shoes, because what I've always done. But after this, I really want to try sandals.
Yeah. You need to try them soon before it gets terribly cold, because even with socks, I think they're going to be super cold.
I definitely want to give them a try.
I might get a pair myself. All right, guys. Well, that about does it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. We really would appreciate it. We do have an Instagram page as well, at Ditch the Pavement, and pavement is PVMT. So go check us out there. We post some really cool stuff and some behind the scenes setup and stuff like that. So go give us a follow. And we have a podcast too. We're doing it on all angles here. So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Ditch the Pavement, again, PVMT. So check us out there, and peace. See you on the trail.